right, so what I like to see from Terence Crawford in his future fights is at 154. Now, I hear a lot of people saying that Terence Crawford is holding the welterweight division up by holding those belts hostage. But in my mind, I'm like, how is he holding it hostage? He just got the belts. But besides him just getting all the belts at 147, it's in the contract, right? And the contract, well, was up already for 30 days, right? But a lot of things in this contract haven't successfully been done yet. We still haven't heard what weight division this second fight, if it do happen, be at 147 or 154. Okay, so we don't know that. Is it still going to happen December? As time goes by, time is taken up, quickly. So maybe it'll happen in January. Okay, but I hear people saying he's holding up the division, but in that contract, being undisputed is still concrete for the option for Errol Spence. In the contract, it's still an option for Errol Spence at 147 to take the fight on 154. I'm not going to get all in the details and all the blah, 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 because then you'll have an argument, right? I'm just saying, in the contract, there's an option of 147 or 154. 147 is still strap season, right, Errol? And if not, if you decide to move up to 154, that's a great opportunity for Crawford to get accoladed to the weight at 154. That would be a great fight. Now, if Terence Crawford just saw the performance of Jermell Charlo and he doesn't like his performance, well, where do we go from there? And he does not want to fight Charlo. Where do we go from there? Well, we got Mendoza and Tim Tszyu about to fight. You do have those belts at 147. You got the WBO, of course. They can let you go up or down in weight. Sorry, my voice is a little scratch. So you could fight. If you're looking for a competitive fight and you don't see it in Charlo, you could fight the winner Mendoza and Tim Tszyu at 154. And let's say you beat the winner of those two. You could be a 4-division champion. Now, the option is this. You could still fight Charlo and take those 3 belts and be undisputed. 3-time undisputed. But if you don't want to do that, Crawford, because you don't see this man competitive, then hey, you're a 4-division champion. That's a 4-division champ. That's another division that you're a champion in. You don't have to go that further because you said Charlo is not competitive. So you're a competitive man. So would I be mad? No. But would I like to see Crawford fight Charlo? Yes, I feel like Charlo called his name. I don't care if Charlo called his name for other reasons. There's reasons for it. He did call this man at the end of his fight with Canelo. I want to fight Crawford next. Now, if it's clout chasing, whatever it is, it is. We will find out in the future, right? After the fight with Errol Spence, if it happens. What I'm hearing is that Errol Spence have an option to fight Lubin. Lubin is a 74.5 reach. I think he's 5'11", his height, and he's a southpaw. So if he's trying to bring himself back into the game and he decides to take that fight before he fights before he fights Crawford, so be it. I got no problems with that. But we talking about what Crawford doing. So in the meantime, if that happens, if that fight don't happen with Errol and Crawford, it happens with Errol and Lubin, fine. It is what it is. That's a good matchup to get him prepared for Crawford. If he fails, well, hey, it fails. There's no rematch with Terence Crawford. It is. Because, like I said in my last video, I feel like that contract is voided because there was a lot of things in that contract that was supposed to be withheld about fighting at December. The other fighter supposed to notify the other fighter and team and whoever else in the PBC to let them know that I can't make 147. Crawford has a choice to fight at 147, 154. But Crawford or Errol is supposed to notify the other team that they cannot make the weight, and then they'll come to a reason, right? So if the fight happens at 154, like I said, that'll be great for Crawford. He can be accoladed one time with one fighter. Now, if he chooses not to fight, I'm just making these things clear because people don't hear. If you don't want to fight Charlo, fight the winner of Mendoza and Tim Tszyu. But if you want to be undisputed, guess what? You're still going to have to fight Charlo. So either way, if you're looking to be undisputed at 154, it's either you fight Charlo, not worrying about his performance at 168 with Canelo, get the 3 belts, and just wait for the winner that's coming up just now. We're going to know who's going to be the winner between Mendoza and Tim Tszyu. And then you have an opportunity to be 3-time undisputed. Has nothing to do with Canelo. Fine. The man becomes a 3-time undisputed or a 4-division champion. Now the PBC, I'm hearing people, there's the only business that PBC should have is Canelo and Terence Crawford. Okay, well, Canelo, he has his 3-fight deal. He has his $33 million of fight that he got to make with a 3-fight deal. And also he gets his back end money, right? So in my mind, if he decides to pick Jamal next, fine. If he picks Jamal, he will fight Jamal, right? Because the PBC, well, it's not what the PBC want, right? It's the Lord and Savior Canelo wants. So if Canelo wants that, fine. But like I was saying in my other videos, it's so funny that when he did the 3-fight deal with the PBC, he was able to pick 3 fights of his choice. Then all of a sudden, Maurice Suleiman comes around and say, David Benavidez is your mandatory. All right, so we're going to see is the word of Maurice Suleiman and him saying that Mexican Monster is your mandatory. So that should be your next fight for Cinco de Mayo. I would love to see that fight. I would love to see David Benavidez versus Canelo, right? But all of a sudden, let's just say we don't get that fight and we get Jamal. All right. Canelo picked Jamal. And if you pick Jamal and didn't pick David Benavidez as his mandatory, you could call it a duck or not because he still have 3-fight deal and he could probably make David Benavidez wait. See, the longer you make him wait, because, he's a big 168, right? I know Canelo probably saying, I'm going to make him wait as long as I can because, he probably won't be able to make the weight. All these strategic moves, right? It is what it is. But Canelo, if he fights Jamel, fine. But in the meantime, we're worrying about what Terence Crawford's going to do. He's going to have to fight sometime next year. It's either January or whatever month in 2024. So if he fights Errol, fine. If he doesn't fight Errol, he's going to have to fight Jamel or Tim Tszyu or Mendoza. One of those 3. And I'm happy. And it will be even more happier if he gets 2 fights at 154. Why is that? Because he got acclimated to the weight twice. And if I'm looking forward to 154, I will fight Jamel before I'll fight the winner of Tim Tszyu and Mendoza, right? Get acclimated. You got 2 fights. You got 1 Errol. You got 1 with with Jamal. Now you're 3-time unified champion, 4-division champion, right? You have 3 belts. You just need 1 more to be undisputed. Great. You've been acclimated twice. Now you're ready for Tim Tszyu and Mendoza, right? And hopefully, Tim Tszyu do, and we can see the fight with Tim Tszyu and Crawford. Great. If Crawford is successful, I have Crawford beating Tim Tszyu, but Tim Tszyu is a dog. He's got good inside game, and for some reason, I watch his fights, he always got these opponents turning like this. If you look at all his opponents, he got them turning, yo. And he's very good in the inside. He's very aggressive and tough in the inside. So that would be a great fight between Tim Tszyu and Crawford. I'd love to see that. Now, let's do the what ifs. If Crawford beats Tim Tszyu and he beats 3-time undisputed, hey, you could pack it up and say, I'll retire, brother. I'm done. There's nothing else for me. I'm 3-time undisputed. I did more than what other people didn't expect me to do. But there's the other side of it. Crawford said, I got 3 fights in him. Now he's competitive. So if he fights Crawford, I mean, if he fights Errol Spence, then he fights Jamel, and then he fights the winner of Tim DeZulo Mendoza. That's 3 fights. He has the right to say, I'm done. But I remember what Bud Crawford said. See, Canelo is not Morrell. Canelo is not Boo Boo Demetrius Andre. Canelo is not, what's the other one? He's not those big dudes, yo. Canelo's not those big dudes like that. So it is a big risk to fight Morrell, David Benavidez, and Demetrius Andre. I can't see him with those dudes, but I could see him with fighting Canelo. And Crawford said this. I said, man, you know, he's not such of a big dude, right? I'm 5'8". I got a 74 arm reach. He's 5'8" with a 70 reach. I feel, this is what Crawford's feeling, that I could do the impossible and move up. Wait. It's not 3 divisions. Stop saying that. Because once Crawford fights at 154, and if he fights more than once at 154, twice, he's really acclimated to the weight, okay? This is not just one fight at 154. It takes about 2 fights to be unified, or even 3 fights to be undisputed at 154. Are y'all following me, right? So I'm not saying he's going to move up 3. He's not going to move up 3 weight classes to fight Canelo. I'm not saying that. I say 2, right? Just like Charlo. I'm trying to do this nice and smooth, all right? So, when I hear people say it's a fantasy fight, it will never happen. But at the same time, the business is like listen, Canelo, you got your 100 million. You can pick and choose who you want to fight. PBC got Canelo in a 3-fight deal. He just fought Jamel. He got 2 more fights left. He gets 32, 33 million a fight, back end money, blah, blah, blah. So depending if his dancing partner, if the back end makes a lot of money, he makes more than 33 or 32, whatever million in that fight with the back end money. Am I correct? Okay. But he's still got a 3-fight deal. Now, Crawford has a 2-fight deal. And we still don't know what's going on with this 2-fight deal. Is Spence going to take the fight or not? This is not on Crawford. This is on Errol Spence. Crawford did the do. All right? He beat Errol Spence. So now it's up to Errol Spence. Do we hear anything from Errol Spence? Have you seen Errol Spence at any of Jamel's fight? Have you seen Errol Spence at all? Have you heard anything? No, until we hear from what he's going to do, then we can say maybe this fight will happen in December, which are highly unlikely, but it will happen in January. If it happens, great. If it happens at 147, you cannot blame Crawford. Talk to your man Errol Spence about that, because maybe he wants strap season. You have to argue. You Errol-sexuals have to argue with Errol Spence about why did you do it at 147. That's it. Not Crawford. But we know how the media is going to make it look like it's Crawford that made him fight at 147. But just like I said before, when Jamel was there, before Canelo took Jamel up. See, this is a funny thing. Fantasy fights. We never thought it was Jamel that was going to fight Canelo. It was supposed to be Jamal, right? So we got Jamel. He had to go up two weight divisions, right? So all I'm saying with this fantasy and reality, could be reality. Now, the PBC is in the business of Canelo and Crawford, right? Those are winners. They're not losers, right? And we know that PBC, blah, 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 going out of business. They're looking for another network, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to do all that shit. But if you are in the business of Canelo and Crawford wins and be undisputed, right? At 154. And Canelo, he beats his next opponent. It is what it is, all right? But I'm still not going there. Because when I go there, I look like a fool. So I'm just listening to Crawford. Crawford said, if there's anybody that could do the impossible, it's me. I don't mind fighting Canelo. I want to fight Canelo. I want the winner next. It's not what these channels are saying, son. It's not what these channels are saying. This is what he wants next. Now, last video I said, what if Boo Boo loses? Now let's talk to the business situation. If Boo Boo loses, if Boo Boo wins, Demetrius Andre beats David Benavidez. Now, what is the best return to get? Is it Demetrius versus Canelo? Or is it Terence Crawford that wants Canelo? Is that more profitable and more lucrative? That's all I'm saying. He had 2 fights at 154, 1 fight, 2 fights, or even 3 fights at 154. He's competitive. He might put that 4th fight in and go and fight Canelo if Canelo wants him, but Canelo say you're not in his plans. You're not in my plans. So let's say we have to do this. What if, and let's say this happened. Let's say this happened. Think way beyond, because Demetrius Andre versus Canelo is not going to make a return. You gave this man $33 million a fight. You gave this man a guarantee of $100 million. Not to say you're Lord and Savior, Canelo, and we just giving it to you. No, we giving it to you, Canelo, so we could make an investment and a return back. We invested in you to make a return back. So do you think, fans out there, that Demetrius fighting Canelo is going to be profitable? Is it going to be profitable? Or do you think Crawford versus Canelo is more profitable? But that's up to Canelo. Because the way I see it, the pressure's on Canelo. If Demetrius beats David Benavidez, and also if Crawford end up being a 4-division champion or decide to be an undisputed champion at 154. Because the business side would say, man, this could be the next, well, almost next to being another May and Pacquiao fight, man. This could be because the attendants are up and they know how profitable and the return would be on these two. But it's all decides on Canelo because he's the face and he sells, and it's face over belts like always. Everybody got a belt. He got a belt, that belt. But it's who got a belt. And this man is 2-time undisputed. And could be a 4-division and undisputed 3-time. That's the pressure on Canelo. Because we could all go down in history and say Canelo's the face of boxing because he sells. Terence Crawford is not the face of boxing because he don't effing sell. But he got all these accolades. So yes, he got a belt. This one got a belt. That one got a belt. Yes, all of them got a belt. Roland Romero got a belt. But the meaning behind the belt, the person, the boxer behind the belt and all his accolades and what he done, and he made history, matters. Not just the face, all right? So that's all I'm saying. Because at the end of the day, Canelo took Jamel from Crawford. Crawford said, oh man, I'll fight Spence at 154. Why he said that? Oh, I can't make 147. Why he said, I'd rather have to fight at 150. Well, because he wanted to get accolade to fight Jamel. But like I always say, shit changed and shit got rearranged. And now Canelo took Jamel up, and Crawford never got a chance to fight Jamel. And Crawford don't want to fight Jamel. All right? But like I said, if you want to be great in the 154 division, regardless if you fight Mendoza or Tim Tszyu, you're still going to have to see Jamel. Right? Or if you don't, stay 4-division champion. But if you beat the winner of those two and you decide you want to be undisputed, you still got to see Jamel. Yeah? You still got to see Jamel. Or if you decide to change your mind, fight Jamel, get your 3 belts, and wait for, and we're going to know the winner in October, I think, next week, I think? I'm not sure. Hey, it's your choice, Crawford. You lay back, you chill, you stress-free. But you did say you want competitive fights, but more than competitive fights, you want big fights. And the only big fight that I see, the biggest fight, is Canelo and Terence Crawford. Sorry to say this. But if Canelo decides to say, I'm going to fight Jamel, like I said, Maurice Suleiman made the mandatory way after he had made that 3-fight sign deal with the PBC and Al Heyman. Al Heyman said you could pick any 3, but all of a sudden, now the mandatory is there. So if you decide not to pick Benavidez for your next fight and you pick Jamal, hey, it's up to the pom-pom cheerleaders, it's up to the fans to say you duck David Benavidez. I want to see that fight with David Benavidez. Yes, I do. Now, if David Benavidez beat Canelo, do I want to see Crawford fight David Benavidez? No. That, like I said, Canelo is not David Benavidez. Canelo is not Demetrius Andre, and he's definitely not no Morrell. Okay, those dudes are natural, big dudes. Crawford said, nah, Canelo, he had to go up to that weight. He's up in that weight. So, if he could do it, why can't I do it? But in order to get there, you got to get accoladed to at least 154. We all know going up and going down is a struggle. It's hard. But the thing about Terence Crawford, he's not worried about a 0. That's what he told Mayweather. I said, I'll leave that 0 to you, man. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to get what I can get, big fights, and get out of here. Lead by 38, right? But still, Crawford still, because you know what? There's a chronological age and there's a biological age. Let me give you an example. I'm 50 years old. I don't look 50. People be thinking I'm 34. I'm not bigging up myself, but I don't look my age. Now, when I grow out my beard and I've got gray hairs, I can say I look in my 40s, but still don't look in my 50s. Face-wise and body-wise, it is what it is. Everybody has a chronological and a biological age. That's the way it is. You got some high school students that look 30 years old. Just graduated high school and they look in their 30s. It is what it is. So when I hear Crawford say, I'll be done by 30, I see that he's cut from a different cloth. I see that he's cut from Mayweather's, not Mayweather, well, skill-wise. But I see him cut like George Foreman, doing something in the impossible at an age that no one thought. He made himself back up in the rankings and fought a young champion, beat him at an age at 48 or whatever age he was. I see B-Hop. No matter what B-Hop is saying right now, I don't care what he's saying. I'm talking about the physicalness. B-Hop, he made the impossible happen. Manny Pacquiao, being the oldest welterweight champion, I do not care about, well, Thurman this and stop. I'm not talking about that. Because it's already ingrained, it's printed, it's already there already. Manny Pacquiao did the impossible, being the oldest welterweight. That's in record books. I don't care about the details, because if you could go with the details, we could always go with details saying that Mayweather fought, what's this guy named O'Connor, and he wasn't even a boxer. And he got a 1 on his 50. That's his 50. We could say he fought Andre Berto. He didn't fight this one. We could go all around the world with the details, man. Boxing is all about details and shit. By the end of the day, once it's established, it's done, son. It's done. So I see Crawford cut from that cloth to fight longer. But that's his option. He made great investments. Just like Mayweather talks about his investment. He great. I seen the interview. He got properties. He got land. He got this. He got money making money. He got money making money. And he's a millionaire. So it's not about that. It's not about that. It's the competitiveness in Crawford. And when you have someone like Mayweather, Crawford, Jordan, certain people, they say they want to lead the sport. But you always see these tendencies they have, like they don't want to lead the sport. So I'll leave that up in the air with Crawford saying he's going to be done by 37, 38. But to me, I think Crawford, if he has an opportunity to fight Canelo, you think he's going to lead the sport before he fights Canelo? After Crawford said, I want the winner of Jamel and Canelo. Oh, of course. I want to fight Canelo. So as me as a channel, why would I go against this man? Now, the only person that will make that decision is Canelo. That's it. But if he wants to do his 3-fight deal and he fights Jamel, and hey, let's say Spence fights Lubin and he beats Lubin, and all of a sudden you hear Canelo say, oh, I want Spence. That's his 3-fight deal. Or if he fights David and he loses, right? He beats Jamel, he beats Jamal, and then he fights David Benavidez. Well, he got to re-sign for another contract to fight David Benavidez for a rematch. He could do that, depending on how his ass gets beat with David Benavidez. If it's a blowout, I don't think Canelo will do it. I don't think Canelo will do it. But if it's a close fight or it's 12 rounds, of course I'll give it to Canelo. But I'm just saying, if it looks like Benavidez beat him, like round after round after round, you know, I know these Canelo be up 4 rounds to the judges and this and that and the conspiracy and the corruption. Yes, I understand that. But if this man gets dropped 2 or 3 times by David, and you have to give the fucking fight to David Benavidez, then that's what it is. Now it's up to Canelo to take that rematch. So I'm saying the business, not what Canelo think. I think the opportunity to make more money on the back end, because Canelo, you are getting 33 and the back end each fight to make up 100 million, but the plus is the back end, right? But damn, if Demetrius beats David, you think the business is going to put you up with... Nah, y'all both signed to the PBC. You and Crawford. Do you think they're going to try to push this fight to happen? All I know, if the business pushes this fight to happen, if the business pushes this fight to happen, and Crawford wants this fight, I don't care what any other channel got to say. I don't care about all that la-di-da-di, we like the party bullshit. It is what it is, man. And I can see fantasy becoming reality. Listen, I'm not here to change your mind. I'm here for you to read between the lines. It's not what they say. It's what they're not saying. And it's not hard to dream, man. I mean, dreams do come to reality. Fantasies do come to reality once in a blue moon. And if Canelo decides to not duck Crawford, if Crawford wants him after being a 4 division or undisputed champion at 3, fine. But I'll always see Crawford as the face of boxing. Because he already made history being 2-time undisputed. To be a 4 division champion or be undisputed again for 3 times? Woo! And if Canelo decided to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do for you. I know I got my 100 million, but the business want me to do this. All right. Bring Crawford up like I brought Charlo up. Bring Crawford up like I want Charlo. The odds is against Crawford. And if he loses, he loses. But there's nothing wrong with trying. I got Crawford beating Canelo, right? And I'll shut my channel down. I got Crawford. I'm saying it right now. I got Crawford beating Canelo. That's the fight that I'll put my channel up on. Still might do it with Benavidez and Demetrius, but right now I'm still looking to see how the mannerism of Demetrius Andre and how he reacts to David, because sometimes this shit's all scripted already. So we could see a Cinco de Mayo, David versus Canelo, and they can make a lot of money with that. They could make their return on that. The only 2 fights I can see they can make big returns on is David Benavidez versus Canelo or Canelo versus Crawford. That's the only 2, man. Not no Demetrius Andre. None of that shit, man. So I'm not here to change your mind, here for you to read between the lines. Specifically, listen to every word I say. Don't say that I want this man to move up 3 weight divisions. I did not say that. I'm talking about having 2 fights accolade to 154. That's what I'm saying. We don't know Crawford's power is going to move up, but if Crawford is willing to do it, so be it. Yo, I'm out, man.